Yo, what's going on guys? I'm FRAGxLearyy and today we are going back to the beginning. For beginners, I'm going to be going over good battle decks to get you up the rankings and into the higher arenas. As you can see, I'm on 1,800 trophies in Arena 6, so I'm not doing too bad. So I'm going to be going over the battle decks. As you know, Clash Royale is an upcoming game, so a lot more people are playing it. So I'll be going over the lower cards, what to use, what not to use, and what I find are the better cards. So we'll start off with training camp. Now, throughout, I've been using the Musketeer. If you get this, it's going to be a massive bonus. The Musketeer at a high level, not even a high level. I think I've only got to level 3, level 5. Sorry, but she is an asset to your battle deck. Trust me. I used her. I was still using her in Arena 5. I've only recently took her off, but she could, because she's good, because she's got good range. She can take out minion hordes. Well, you won't get minion hordes yet, but minions and stuff like that. She can take them really easy, and she's a really good troop to put behind things like giants and stuff like that. The witch, she was the last card I got out of Arena 1, 2 and 3, and I didn't think much of her. She's good for distractions, that's all. She isn't good at attacking really. She's good for distraction, holding things back. I wouldn't advise using the like, don't get me wrong, I have lost games because people have been using witches, but it's not that often. The prince, I used him up to about Arena 5, Arena 4, possibly Arena 5 I think it was. He's a really good troop, especially with a charge. He can really weaken things like the giant and take out the Pecker, or the mini Pecker at least. And he's really good to use. The fireball, I can personally, I've never used. I think I used it once. I think it was a bit of a waste of elixir, as by the time you've used that and took out whatever troop they're using or weakened, you may as well have deployed a troop which is going to take down their troop and carry on going. Like a mini Pecker, for instance. The mini Pecker I used up to Arena 3, I think. He's good, don't get me wrong. Once you get the Pecker in Pecker's Playhouse, though, you can tell the difference. He's good for taking down things like giants and princes and knights. He's good to have, don't get me wrong. The bomber is good against these. I would highly advise using the bomber. I used him a lot. I still do use him sometimes. I like to switch him up sometimes, and he's really good. He takes out skeleton army, and a lot of high level people use skeleton armies as well. Like me myself, I think. I took him off. I changed him for a goblin barrel, but I did have him on recently. He's good. The skeleton army is a good troop, and to counter that, you need the bomber. But I'd always pick the bomber. Throughout. The arrows are good to counter them as well, but the arrows, I just don't see the point. They've got no real damage. I suppose they're good for minions and your skeleton army, but that's what the bomber and the Musketeer are for, and they're going to carry on going. It ain't as if like it's just a one-off thing and then it's gone. So yeah, overall, and the giant, the giant is a good troop. Also, he can go through. He can power through if you're in like struggle of elixir and you need to build it up. So he's definitely good to use, and he only goes for bases like things like, get off this. He'll only go for things like the goblin huts, or the castles and stuff like that, and or the side things like the towers. So the giant's good to use for I'd say up to Arena 3, possibly Arena 4. So overall, I think the top six cards to use are the bomber, the musketeer, the giant, the prince, the skeleton army, and the mini Pecker. That's if you have them. If not, switch them up. And if you don't, put a comment if you're generally unsure, or you don't have a few of them cards. But say if you only don't have one, try to pick something, that is going to counter it, if you get what I'm saying. So let's say I told you to use the Pecker, for instance, and you didn't have him, but you had the skeleton army, use the skeleton army, because the skeleton army can always take out a Pecker if someone has it on. Or say it could take out a prince if you don't have the prince, but you have the skeleton army. Or say you have the baby dragon and don't have the bomber, replace it with that. You have to replace it with things that can counter, like, what you don't have. If you get what, you should get what I mean by me explaining that. If you don't, I'm sorry. If you're still unsure, post it in the description. I'll always reply within 24 hours of what troop you should use. Anyway, so now going on to the Goblin Stadium. The troops in this I didn't think much of, never used them. As you saw on my battle deck, I still use the Goblin barrel that I would use all the time, pretty much. The Goblin barrel, if you get it, put that on instantly. I'd change it up for, I'd change the Goblin barrel up for the bomber. Don't get me wrong, I love the bomber, but I'd always change it up for it. Goblin hut, don't really use. Suppose it's good as a distraction, like I said before, and it keeps putting out troops like on like a timer, like every, what is it, 4.9 seconds spawn speed. So yeah, it's a good distraction, good hold back if you need to build elixir up. Goblin, spear goblin, they're just too weak. The goblins, I don't use them, they're just too weak. Lightning, good damage, don't get me wrong, but for 6 elixir, I don't really think it's worth it. The Valkyrie, always good to have if you suppose. The Valkyrie's okay. I would replace it if you didn't have the Pecker. Put the Valkyrie on if you had the Valkyrie. The Goblin barrel, as I say, always put it on. Moving up to the Bone Pit. The Bone Pit is where you start to get your hands on some good troops. Don't get me wrong, this is where you start advancing on troops. Minions, they're really good to use. I don't use them anymore because you get the minion horde in Pecker's Playhouse, and I got that and replaced it. Obviously, you get 6 instead of 3, but obviously when you're coming up to the Bone Pit, no one's really gonna have minion hordes, or shouldn't do, unless they're not that good and they're dropping down arenas. But minions, I would definitely use. They are really good because the air defense, or not the air defense, they're good in the air. And they're good to take down things like the Pecker or the Prince or the Giant, things like that can't shoot up in the air or can't get air troops. So yeah, the minions are always good to have on. It's sort of like a backup. Tombstone, waste of time. Suppose that's another distraction, but really isn't. They don't do any damage at all, really. I think it's a waste of time. Bomb tower, I used once, very disappointed with it. They're too easy to destroy and you don't get much gain off them. Like for 5 elixir, I'd put something down like your minions, and then you still have 2 left over to use save another 2, get a Goblin barrel. You know what I'm saying? The giant skeleton, if you get it, it's good, don't get me wrong. When it drops the big bomb, as you can see, death damage 720. That just is going to kill everything around it. And it's also good if you can get him to the one of the castles, and it will take out a lot of hit points. And as you can see on his hit points, he has 2,000, as much as a giant, so he's got good health to get there. The only disadvantage is he attacks everything. They don't just go for your castles and your towers. He'll go for anything that's put in front of him, which is the downfall really, but not too much of a worry if you can deploy something like the Musketeer behind him, which can help take them out quicker. Now you have the balloon, very good. Say a lot of people mess up. Say if you put that on, and say if someone put down, I don't know, a Pecker and a giant, let's say, well, their elixir's gone. If you had the where am I going? If you had the balloon, deploy that on the other side if you really wanted to, or the same side, it don't really matter. It's gonna sail through. It only goes for castles and towers, and the hit points on this is ridiculous. Plus you get death damage of 100. It takes down towers quick, and not towers, castles quick. So that's always good to have if people deploy things like giants and that, and basically waste their elixir on troops that are slow. Skeletons, waste of, I suppose, the 1 elixir, good distraction, I suppose, and don't really see the point of them. and that's about it. They're the first three arenas. I might make one on the Barbarian Bowl, Pecker's Playhouse, and Spell Valley, or I might not do. By arena, when you get to arena 3, you're pretty experienced, you know what you're doing. I have tutorials up on my channel on each individual arena all the way up to arena 6. I think I did upload arena 6 strategy just. I'm pretty sure I did. So yeah, go check them out if you're still struggling and you still want strategies. But when you're there, you pretty much know what you're doing. Obviously, I've put up the best cards for each one, well, what's used throughout. Anyway, hope you like this strategy guide, or best card decks, or whatever you want to call it. If it helped you, please leave a like, leave a comment if you need to know anything. If you don't have something and you want to know what to replace, if you leave a comment, I'll respond as quick as I can. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing loads of Clash Royale videos. If you like these, I might do other games as well, but for now I am pretty much addicted to this, so I'm going to be uploading loads of these. I've got some chest openings of super magical chests. I've got loads of things, guys. Go check out my channel. Anyway, until then, I will see you in my next video.